Welcome back, guys. Today's video is going to be covering the concept of atomic number and mass number. So these are two important things that we can use to describe atoms on the periodic table. So starting with atomic number, we can use the order that the atoms are written in the periodic table to tell us the atomic number. So for example, if you look at the periodic table, you'll notice that hydrogen is number 1, helium is number 2, lithium number 3, and so on and so forth. Those numbers are actually the atomic numbers of those atoms. So if we look at the 6th atom on the periodic table, it is carbon, right? So the atomic number of carbon is 6. Now, what does the atomic number tell us? Well, the atomic number tells us how many protons that atom has. So carbon being number 6 on the table, its atomic number is 6. It has 6 protons. So this tells us the number of protons. So that is the atomic number, pretty straightforward. Now, if we go to mass number, I like to explain mass number with writing these atoms in a different format. Now, you'll often see atoms written like this, which is what I'm about to show you. So, carbon, we'll see a 6 written at the bottom left. You'll see it written this way. The bottom left represents the atomic number, and the top left represents your mass number. Okay, so you'll see it written in the periodic table, and you also see it written this way, right? You'll see a C for carbon, or the element symbol for whatever element on the periodic table you're talking about. So for carbon, we're going to label it C. In the bottom left, we're going to have atomic number. In the top left, you're going to write the mass number. Now the mass number is your total number of protons plus neutrons. Okay, and atoms can have different mass numbers depending on the version of that atom that you're talking about. Now, there could be multiple forms of the same atoms with different number of neutrons. Those are called isotopes. Make sure to check out my channel. I have a video on isotopes that you should definitely watch. So not every atom has the same mass number every single time. However, it's important to note that they always have the same atomic number. So no matter what type of carbon that we're talking about, it's always going to have an atomic number of 6. So back to this mass number. It's the number of protons plus the number of neutrons. We know that number of neutrons can vary. So let's go over here and look at this practice problem to help us with filling in the rest of this diagram. So it says determine the atomic number and mass number of carbon 12. Now when you see it written this way, the 12 right here is the mass number. So if it's carbon 12, we know the mass number goes in this spot in the top left, right? So this is definitely a way that you'll see atoms written with these two numbers, one in the bottom left, one in the top left. This is the atomic number, this is the mass number. So we have the atomic number of 6 that never changes. Now the mass number for carbon 12 is going to be 12. Now if we want to know how many neutrons that is, right? We know that this adds up, protons plus neutrons, to the mass number of 12. We know that there are 6 protons. That means that there are 6 neutrons in carbon 12. And just again, check out my video on isotopes. There are different forms of carbon. You could see things like carbon 13, right? It still has an atomic number of 6. It has a different number of neutrons. So make sure to check out that video. Now, how many neutrons does sodium 24 have? Now, sodium is Na. Its atomic number is 11. So it's the 11th atom on the periodic table. Now, what is its mass number? Well, when you see it written this way, it has a mass number of 24. Okay? So we know that the mass number is the protons plus the neutrons. Well, we know the mass number is 24, and it has 11 protons. So if there's 11 protons, that must mean that there are 13 neutrons adding up to that 24 mass number. So this is atomic number, number of protons, number you can find in the periodic table. Mass number tells us protons plus neutrons, right? And make sure to check out that video on isotopes where we see those differing mass numbers for the same atom on the table. Thanks for watching, and make sure to check out more videos on the channel.